This was the last round of the tournament, and it was an important game because if Nanida wins, who's white, she wins or draws, she would be the champion. And if Atan wins, then he could become the champion, and he did. So I would like to ask everyone to get into Atan's shoes and decide what you will do here. You've got 17 minutes, almost 18 minutes on the clock. Nandita has just played rook to d7. What will you do if you are black? This is what I want you to calculate or decide. So there are two things to understand here. Basically, the first is Nandita's got both the rooks in the seventh rank, and this is a big moment because this is the kind of position where Nandita is about to get some compensation for the extra piece that Atan has. Atan has won a piece. So in many games in the tournament as well, Nandita has come back from losing positions, kind of like this one, where she is a piece down by fighting back, by not giving up. So this is that moment where she could get both pawns or this pawn, and she'll have two connected passed pawns running down the board for the piece. And this is a moment where she could get the advantage or get enough compensation to fight back. So that's the first thing. Second thing is most of us, including myself, would have played Rook F8. When I was seeing the game, I was thinking Rook F8. I mean, it's uncomfortable because you lose a pawn, but then I was thinking I'll defend that one as well. So I'll defend this pawn, and he will have. I mean, she will have an extra pawn here, but material will be a kind of piece of black, even if I lose this guy. So I was thinking rook f8, and rook takes b7 and rook a4 even. And then to unravel the position, I would try to get my knight to defend the square, maybe even getting the knight here, and then free up my rook and then win the game. That's what I was thinking. I did not even think of this. I wouldn't even think of this. Most players wouldn't think of this, I would say. So what Atan did was king f6. The main thing to understand, and it's a lesson for everyone. Oftentimes in chess, you will have an option, a clear option between two approaches. When somebody is attacking, you will have one option, that is to passively defend. Passive defense is the first option for Atan here. Second option is, even at the cost of one or two or three pawns, go for activity. And almost all the time, going for active positions is better. Going for passive defense is not going to work in most positions. There are some positions where if you defend like anything, you can consolidate and win. But most positions you have to choose activity over passivity, active play over passive defense. This is unbelievable active play, and this is passive defense. There's no other move to consider. Rook f8 or even king h6 maybe, but same idea basically. So Atan played king f6, the move of the tournament. And the funny thing is, if you look at the engine, it's saying minus 5.1 and it's saying rook f8. But once the move is played, it goes to minus 5.4. So it's even Atan's moves even better than how the engine on leeches is thinking. So see here, engine will come to its senses maybe. It's still saying rook f8 minus 5.1. Okay, it's not even thinking of king f6. It's thinking of king h6. It's not even getting there. But king f6 was played. Unbelievable. So it's a long way away. The mate is a long way away. It's not that there is a guaranteed mate here, but the evaluation of the position is excellent. Basically, what Atan wants is get the king up, rook down, and checkmate the opponent. I mean, it's risky as well, but he goes for it. Now, what happened was excellent for Atan. Rook f7. Nanda takes the pawn, of course. King g5. Another pawn gone. So now somebody in the comments was saying it has become equal. Who was that? Someone was saying that. Hmm. Okay, they were all discussing the mate at the end. Okay, yeah, and Nishman was saying it, then make it equal, rookie one. But yeah, it's not about the number. It's not about plus two or plus 0. This number is invalid. What is important is the position. Look at the pieces. There are 4 pieces for black. Usually, a couple of rooks that enter the 7th rank is powerful, strong enough to at least guarantee you a draw, mostly win. But here, the rooks are doing nothing. The king has vacated. King has vacated the building. He's out, and you cannot touch him. This pawn will only invite the king even further up. So we can call this the Atan king walk. So what happened was even more beautiful. Now, I mean, cannot be more beautiful than king f6, but yeah, it was beautiful. Knight d3. Atan is not immediately going for the check. He goes knight d3. Rook takes. Rook check. King moves. Knight f2. Rook comes back to f7. This was a slightly, what do you say? It doesn't make any threat, or maybe she couldn't find anything here. I would have maybe considered rook d3, maybe at least to get the rook somewhere. But wait, no, 4 is kind of a threat. Yeah, f4 is a threat. So maybe she's even thinking of giving up the rook for the pawn, or she's thinking of h4. That's what she's thinking. So that's why she brought the rook back in. But now rook e3 and not f4. I don't know whether f4 would win. F4 would probably win. But then there's still h4. And the king comes up. White will have to give up the rook. But yeah, this is winning. So even better than f4 is getting the rook into the game. Now all 4 pieces are active. They are chasing down the white king. And the 2 rooks are away. They're doing nothing there. So this was a good choice. Choosing rook e3 over f4. Now the threat is clear. Rook h1 is mate. So to stop it, Nandita has to make space. So she makes space by playing g3. Now the next move was very nice. Atan doesn't go for the check directly. Niranjan was saying rook h1. He was screaming rook h1 in the chat. But yeah, not rook h1. Rook h1 just lets the king escape. Knight e4. Engine says knight g4 is faster. That's a nice line. Takes and then, oh, this is nice. Takes, check, and then checkmate. But yeah, as a human, you would not think of that first. Knight e4, and now the mate is unstoppable. Rook e2 is mate. The g3 square is covered. That's the thing with this knight. So g4 is no longer possible. Same thing would happen with knight g4. It covers the possibility of g4. And now the check is just a check. King moves, and rook takes. Ananda can only stall. She gives up a rook, but Athan is not even interested in the rook. He gives the checkmate, and a beautiful checkmate with the 2 rooks and not the knight, the king on the board. And that is how Athan won the August SKB tournament with a score of 5 out of 6, catching Nandita on the score and getting a better tiebreak. And that's the story of the tournament.